Oh, hello, and welcome to Aldente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm not supposed to be here. I requested to have January off for no specific reason.
Well, I mean, but if you took January off, gamer, you would miss Jeffuary. Oh, okay, now I see why.
Yeah, that would be a shame, but I gotta take my time off at some point, so.
We don't have time off in this show.
But we get paid.
You
So
get paid? But yes, we are doing we're new year, new Jeffuary. And we are starting with apparently the correct version of Homicidal Lou. Like, this is the original version of Homicidal Lou. Some like really devout fans of Al Dente or people who have listened to some of our earliest stuff may remember an April Fool's episode and then like an actual episode that me and the Review Cultist, me and Dr. Leviathan did regarding Homicidal Lou and a story about him. Apparently that wasn't like the OG one or like the original one that come out. It was this one that we're doing today, which is by Vampirenote13. And so yeah, we're covering Homicidal Lou by Vampirenote13. You can check it out at Fearfic.Fandom.com, which is a new source for creepypastas, specifically Jeff the Killer creepypastas that I have discovered.
Wait, is it only Jeff the Killer stuff on?
I think it's got to have more, because like there's the Jeff, like if it was just Jeff the Killer, then it really should just have gone to the Just the Kittens wiki.
Right, forgot that was a thing.
No, yeah, there's other stories on here, like there's an abandoned. Oh, I think Fearfic is actually it's an archive of online horror like stuff, and I think I could be wrong, but I think that it might be or have something to do with Slime Beast, because he was the one that coined the phrase Fearfic in place of as an alternative term for creepypasta.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if the wiki is like affiliated with him or if it's just a kind of a nod and such, or like a homage. But regardless, we have a new website, and so we have a new source of creepypasta stories to kind of mine into and such. And specifically for this month, Jeff the Killer stories and Jeff affiliated stories, as this episode is going to show. So yeah, you can check it out there. I suppose before we dive too much deeper, we should probably do our initial recommendations. I'm not going to recommend this one.
I'm also not going to recommend this one.
You guys don't understand the genius of this one. No. This one I can't keep up the bit.
I was really waiting for you to just like I thought you laughing like halfway through your defense of it was like going to be the joke.
No, I didn't like it either.
No. Yeah. Well, let's dive into it and find out why. So, for the first part of the story, we do get kind of a skimmed down summary of what happened in the OG, or in one of the origin stories of Jeff the Killer.
In the mainline one, right?
Yeah, in the mainline one, the one that's like most popular. From Lou's point of view, Lou being Jeff the Killer's brother.
It's just the aftermath, like not the entire thing. It's under.
Yeah, like he basically like he's just coming back from juvie, which he
went to because Jeff did bad.
Yeah, and he took the blame for what Jeff had done.
Yes.
So Lou was trying to be a good brother, and he's always tried to be a good brother to his younger brother Jeff, who always gets into trouble. And so he gets back from juvie, and by that point, Jeff has already been hospitalized. And then again, see the origin of Jeff the Killer, like with the birthday attack and the bullies and Jeff losing his shit. but also getting bleached and set on fire.
Yep.
And Lou does his best to be there for his brother in the hospital and such. Eventually, the bandages come off, and Lou endeavors not to react to Jeff's new scars and appearance, and is kind of disheartened by Jeff's manic laughter and kind of mania. Later at home, trying to sleep, he hears a thud. He being Lou, and is pounced upon by a crazed Jeff, who has sliced his cheeks to form a bloody smile. Jeff then begins cutting into Lou's stomach and abdomen and digs in with his hand to grab something. It's at this point that the pain overtakes Lou and he blacks out, only to come back to, not dead, but in a hospital, presumably, being cared for by a nurse. While the nurse is talking to him and trying to keep him in his bed, and also mentioning some awful things about his brother and at least the killer that almost got him. A voice in Lou's head named Sully prompts him to kill the nurse, which he does, stabbing her with scissors, particularly for bad-mouthing his bro, Jeff. As he sets about covering up his kill here and figuring out how he's going to leave the hospital, he finds clothes and a card from the birthday finds a card wishing him well, and then takes a look at the mirror and sees all the scars on him. Apparently Jeff cut him up really bad, and he has a bunch of stitches now all over his body. He then goes over and talks to the corpse of the nurse, and calls her out, or calls the body out for bad mouthing his brother and calling him a demon and such. Lou then makes his escape as a killer now, just like his brother. Finn, as the story just ends, with presumably him escaping and going out into the wild to become a killer, just like his brother.
Yep.
So,
he's a bad boy now.
Mm-hmm. But that is Vampirenote13’s Homicidal Lou. So, I suppose we'll move on to everyone tolerates a grammar inquisitions at this point. And boy, howdy, do I have a few.
Nice.
So I'm going to start with this one here. Now, it had been weeks since Lou had been released from that horrible place, only to see his little brother in such a delicate state. I think you meant it. Now, it had been a week since. Or
weeks.
I was thinking either or, but I think a week is probably the most logical one, but it honestly could be either. It just needs something else. Otherwise we're kind of getting caveman speech here. It's like, now it had been week since. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. He told him about mundane things like what he had for lunch, how he still hadn't made any friends. This one boy kept calling him prison reject, and how he was saving up to buy a new game for Jeff. So this one might be a bit of a nitpick, but I would have added quotations around and then maybe even capitalized the first letters of prison reject, since it is sort of like a derogatory nickname.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Just I don't know if that's necessarily if it's really needed, but for me, I would have. That would be a suggestion for me. So,
because otherwise, it looks like it should be saying a prison reject.
Yeah. But move on to the next thing here. Jeff did have a roommate, but Lou had a feeling it was just as lonely for Jeff as it was for Lou when he was in that joke of a correction facility. So it's actually supposed to be correctional facility. That's just the proper term for it.
Also, was there caveman speech at the start of that I missed too?
Jeff did have a roommate, but Lou had a feeling it was as lonely.
Oh, when you read it, you said Jeff did have roommate, but Lou
okay, sorry, my bad. I might, I was It might have just been me trying to read it.
In caveman mode.
Yeah. Zug zug. And my last grammar inquisition is this one. His voice picked up as pulled back. Hang on. His voice picked up as pulled back, stabbing her again to the lullaby of her screams. So I think it should say, I think these words should be added to fix this. His voice picked up as he pulled the scissors back, stabbing her again and again to the lullaby of her screams. So like,
Yeah, the heat works for sure.
he maybe add the scissors for clarity, and then like,
well, what else would it be?
well, it's just like
pulling back from the body and leaving the scissors in it.
I don't know. For me, it's not even so much as a playing it safe. For me, like it feels incomplete without like also adding the scissors part. But that might just be a personal preference.
Mhm.
Also, similarly, like stabbing her again to the lullaby of her screams. For some reason, I wanted to add stabbing her again and again, like to the lullaby. For some reason, made it made it more. It filled out the story or like the sentence a little bit more for like the description.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like he's doing it basically in time. Like when she screams, he does it again, kind of deal.
Yeah, so it adds a little bit more to the pro, I guess.
He's not a pro; he's an amateur.
Yeah, I meant pro as in PROSE.
That's
with the silent SE.
That says pros, sir.
But like people often use like have the S and the E as silent in that.
Oh, I'm aware. I hate the English language.
I know. Really, you should just hate all languages because like all languages are like this. Like it's not just English.
I'm pretty sure there's one that is like the perfect language.
Well,
like,
I know that like I heard recently that like Japanese doesn't have sarcasm in it. Like it's just not in like they just don't they don't have like quotations for like sarcasm in their vocab.
Nice.
So that might help some things for you.
Right.
But yeah, that's the end of my grammar inquisition. So Mikey, the E stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
Ooh.
And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It had been a lonely and terrifying experience. It's not that bad. It was only then that he noticed the loud, rapid beeping of the heart monitor as he caught sight of the nurse at his bedside. And again, and a fourth time. But Lou knew he couldn't turn back now. Finn.
Wow. So it was a horrible experience.
And he's still in
that bad.
And he's still in that bed, and the heart monitor is the thing that's keep beeping over and over again. And he can't go back now, so he's just bedridden completely.
The way I saw it, I was like, it's a horrible experience. It wasn't that bad. But he's in the bed, there's a nurse there, and then there's another nurse there, and then there's another nurse there, and there's another nurse there. But he can't turn back to the first nurse, because like when he turned his head all the way, it like broke his neck. Basically.
Yeah. or it's like there's so many nurses have come by because it's like the passage of time. So he's just been stuck there in that bed as with the incessant beeping, and the nurse is constantly like coming in and replacing the other one.
Yup.
Wow. Just a really sad story. Conjunction.
Yeah. But I like how it like flowed really well. Like none of that was just kind of like, yeah, that's that bit from the story. Like every line actually kind of changed what was happening in this one.
Yeah, and it formed its own little story, like more than usual. Like it actually it actually had a coherent sense in a way to it a little bit with simplicity.
Yeah. And for those unaware, Mikey grabs sentences throughout the story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, because there's always better words to use.
Indeed.
He strings them together into a story because sometimes they have hilarious results.
Like it came at full force. It was a squirrel.
Yes. The origin
the origin of the conjunction junction, the it stories. Yeah. But yeah, Gamer, what do you have for grammar inquisition?
You know, Mikey, do you actually have grammar, or do you only have this right now?
I only have that.
Okay.
Usually Mikey finishes caps off his stuff with the conjunction junction. So
okay, just clarify.
No, I remind myself every time now because like I asked him the one time and he's like, no, like this is it. So
Okay.
So Mikey, if that ever if you ever like don't do that, don't be pissed off at me for like just immediately talking over you and like switching over to a gamer because you did this. You instilled this into my routine.
Nice.
Either way, my turn.
Yes.
Okay, so my first one. Louis felt nervous as the bandages were slowly removed.
Louis?
Yeah, it should be Lou, but it's Louis.
Oh.
L-U-I is how that one is spelled.
Does it say that?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like,
I must have
I
read
get it.
over it. Yeah.
I get it, honestly, because half the time when I was writing down Lou's name, I spelt it wrong that way.
Yeah.
So I get it. That is the only mistake of his name in the entire story. But for a second, I was like, "Who's Louis?"
Yeah. I want to be like you.
I mean,
It's
he's
like
the
King
doctor
Lou.
removing the bandages.
Oh, it does. Yeah. So I was like,
faces.
Yeah. Yeah, Louis is the other patient that was in the room next to Jeff.
Yeah. Yes, I'll move on from there.
Mhm.
He woke up to the sound of a thud. There was a bad feeling in his stomach, informing him something was not right, but he ignored it and tried to go back to sleep. He had no such luck and looked up again. A hand covered his mouth, making him lash out until he was pushed over onto his bed. So, when I first read this, I saw it as like Lou's eyes opened at the sound of the thud, like while he's still in bed, but he's still laying down. And then all of a sudden, he's pushed over, even though he's already laying down.
Yeah, I gave it a pass, but like I do recall like reading it. It's like, did that mean that he got up earlier, like, but then like to check on the thud, but then got pushed down? Like, yeah, it needs some clarity there.
The way that I think it's meant to be is he woke up to the sound of a thud, sitting up straight and awake with worry, like that kind of deal, right? And then he gets tackled on the bed, like he's still in bed, but he just like tackled back down.
Well, yeah, like he sits up and then gets pushed down by or pinned down again from Jeff. Yeah.
Yes. And then my next one, the cut that followed to his abdomen was the worst kind of pain he had ever felt. Not even the time he had cut himself deeply with a knife compared to this sharp burning pain. So for me, I feel the second sentence is kind of not needed. It's referencing a time in the past we don't know about.
Yeah.
And it's doing it with so little description as if we should know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, because I don't even think there's no mention of anything like that in the original Jeff the Killer Origins. So like,
I don't think so.
No, like he's never cut by like Lou. The first time Lou is cut by somebody, it's Jeff in this moment.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So I don't know what time he's referencing, but it's so vague, like it, and it doesn't even add anything, you know?
No,
because
yeah,
it already
exactly.
says it's the worst kind of pain he's ever felt.
Like if it had immediately gone to like a flashback to like his childhood when he like was cut or when he accidentally cut himself or something like that. Like if it had given us like a full detailed description of like a flashback, maybe that would have been prevalent. Although even that might have been like a waste, but
even just a brief mention of what happened instead of just,
something more specific. Yeah,
yeah, because it's way too vague.
Yeah,
or just don't have that there at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this part here, where the doctor is telling Lou about his brother attacking him and other people. Lou frowned. Then it switched to italics. Oh right, Jeff, his brother, has said goodnight to him after finally coming home. Wait, did she just call his brother a demon? That is all in italics.
Why?
Yes, why? Okay, so like there's my problem here, honestly, is not the fact that there's italics. I hate italics. They're annoying. But that's not technically the problem. Yeah. It's the problem is he's talking to himself in third person in his own internal thoughts.
Yeah.
So this is wrong in 3 parts. The first part, when he's thinking about Jeff, he thinks his brother to himself. Like where it would be my brother, or simply he. Like he wouldn't be saying his brother.
especially since like I'm looking at the actual like page on the wiki, especially since like a few lines like before this, we get he, Lou thought, he who's he, where am I? Oh God, it hurts. That's in first person.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's third person here for some reason.
Yeah,
I understand. And then
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
go ahead.
I was just like, I mean, maybe like devil's advocate. Maybe this is the point where like he starts like snapping, and that's where the second personality Sully comes into play. Like that's where like and like that third person perspective is supposed to symbolize like the breaking of his mind or something. But
If this italic part is supposed to be Sully, then it should be in bold like all the rest of Sully's
Yeah.
words.
Oh no, yeah, and I don't mean like that this is actually Sully. I mean like this is like showing that like his mind is starting to fracture into two separate personalities, him and Sully. But not that like saying this is actually Sully talking. It's just like this is his mind like breaking and such. I'm just playing devil's advocate and say yeah. So like I'm just trying to like justify it.
Don't you dare. But yeah, the next part where it says it should be had instead of has, because it says like his brother has said good night. Like if we're talking in the past, keep it in the past. So it would be his brother had said good night. And then when referencing to himself again, he says his brother had said good night to him. And why wouldn't it be good night to me?
Like, yeah, that entire time, like, yeah, like it's talking about past events. Like, I can't even like justify it saying like, oh well, he's confused. He thinks he's still in the now. It's like, no. This is stuff that's like mentioning stuff from clearly from the past. So
yeah, so it's third person and it's talking in the present, even though it's supposed to be first person talking in the past.
Wow, so you have a tense talk, is what I'm hearing.
My God. You see what you've done to me, Jeff.
I'm also surprised I didn't catch this and like go into and I didn't start a tense talk. But
yeah, I'm surprised. But yeah, that is the end of the grammar in yellow.
All right. Well, let's move on to actual thoughts then. I'll start with this one here. A soft pressure gripped his hand, and Lou closed his eyes, trying to relax. I'll tell the doctor to up your dosage. You're a lucky kid. That psycho bastard killed quite a few people. He looks like a demon or something in the police sketches. I wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley at night. Lou frowned. Oh, right. Jeff, his brother, his brother has said goodbye, or his brother has said goodnight to him after finally coming home. Wait,
echo?
did she just call call his brother a demon? Yeah, so yeah, basically repeating the same thing, but I want the full context for this thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously, the bedside manner of this nurse is astoundingly bad.
Really?
Like
that
I would
event that you were just in, man, that's horrible.
Yeah, like I would assume, and I know what that means. I know that's a mistake often. That if she's helping keep Lou alive at the hospital and such, she should know his situation, at least some of the details around it.
It should need to remind him.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
attacked him.
Yeah. Like, and yeah, should probably know that the demon the police sketch shows is like likely his brother. And even if that's not the case, like if she doesn't know that like that the killer was actually his brother, it's not very professional to call some psycho who traumatically harmed your patient an outright demon to the patient. Like, I'm sure his future therapist is thanking her right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like feeling like suggestion, like when you're in certain states, like you don't want like to add on or taint like the perception of like or like of a mind that's delicate or fragile in that kind of a state. So
yeah, she could be making it worse, and even if she's making it worse, she's at least reminding him of the horrible event that I'm sure he would like to move past.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like Jesus, this woman's bedside manner is the worst. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. He got up, stumbling his way to the chair that had fresh clothes on it. there was a little card that said "Get well soon, Billy." The Billy is like who made the note, not like "Get well soon, Billy." It's like, I'm not
First
Billy.
card that he could find.
Yeah. But no, yeah, "Get well soon" from Billy. He threw it aside and quickly got dressed, hissing when he tried to bend the wrong way and pulled his stitches. One look in the mirror revealed his body. Revealed his body was riddled with stitches. Those are new, he thought as he made his way back to the corpse. You're so goddamn annoying, and my brother is not a bastard or a demon. So I got 3 things here. Starting with number 1. I vaguely recalled the name Billy, and I was like, and I had to go back and check. I'm pretty sure Billy is the kid whose birthday Jeff went to in the original Jeff the Killer story.
Oh, okay.
So, but like, why is Billy sending him a get well soon? Like, did they know each other? Also, I remember Billy being kind of younger than even like Jeff, so like, it just seems kind of weird.
When okay, what caused Lou to be in the hospital in the first
It
place?
was Lou was hospitalized because
stabbed.
was stabbed by
Yeah.
like Jeff the Killer. But Lou was out of the picture during the birthday. Like he was still in juvie. So like only Jeff would have like really known Billy in this regard.
Maybe just because Billy knows Jeff and Billy's just being nice.
Maybe.
Mom's just like, oh, Jeff's brother got hurt. You should send him a nice card. That would
You know,
help.
the brother of that boy who like got into that fight during your birthday and completely traumatized you and a bunch of the other kids at the birthday when he was attacked by a bunch of bullies with a gun, and he got bleached and then like set on fire, and then like he kind of snapped a few weeks later and killed his entire family except for Lou, who just survived that. And is out there now at large.
I'm trying to forget that.
Yes, it's just like this whole world of story, like the story is in, it's just nothing but adults being assholes to traumatize children.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so thank you for the reaction. That was perfect. Oh god, that was good. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, just getting back to it, it's like I was like, wasn't Billy the kid from the birthday like that Jeff was in, not Lou? Like, okay, anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
My second thing, in regards to the stitches all over his body, it's like, well, this explains the stitches detailed in the images that we see now of Homicidal Lou, like, because like Homicidal Lou, like his scarring that like kind of distinguishes himself from like, you know, Jeff's appearance and stuff is that he's stitched like Frankenstein kind of. Like he's got just stitches all over his face and body, I guess. Though I guess from the story, I guess Jeff sliced him a bit more after Lou blacked out.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird that his one defining trait is like not actually directly shown.
Yeah.
In the story,
and they're just like
why that happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we get like Jeff like slashed him against like from like the stomach down to the abdomen and stuff, and then like pulled something out. So and then that's when Lou blacked out. So I guess like while he was blacked out, he also started just cutting into him, and then before authorities arrived.
I guess, but again, it's weird. It's as if there's no scene for Jeff when he actually like cuts the Glasgow Smile in. If there was no scene for that, but he just did it.
Yeah. That's another thing about this story. I feel like it relies too heavily on like you having knowledge of the original story of Jeff the Killer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I feel like
there needs on its own at all. Yeah,
it needs. Yeah, like this is really just kind of like, oh, if you read that for the that one Jeff the Killer origin story, here's an add-on to it. Like this is what was happening from
free DLC.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it really can't stand on its own because of that. But yeah, like I feel like there could have been like an interesting thing. Again, it would have separated a little bit from the original story, but that's good. Is if Jeff like had actually tortured Lou before like he blacked out, like a little bit more, like had him like show him getting cut around, like to give if you want to give those like the origin of why he has to be stitched up like that.
Because at this
And
point,
then
all we get is the torso scarring, and then
Yeah.
if Lou was gonna continue being a quote unquote the killer, and that's
Yeah.
all we hear about as his like marks, then him going around killing, he would probably be doing it shirtless to show off his scars.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, with the Jeff the Killer fandom.
I mean, yeah, well, also with like
I'm sure that'd be fine.
the angsty teen like Tumblr fandom of Jeff the Killer and like killer like teen angsty killer creepypasta icons, like that's kind of like that's part of the course. Like again, this character was really probably just made to be another bad boy in the Jeff the Killer lineup.
Yeah, Jeff the Killer is basically just creepypasta heartthrob simulator. Generator rather.
Oh my god, I know that there's probably something out there, but I really hope there isn't like one of those dating sims that's just like creepypasta high and it's just all the Jeff the Killer wannabe characters.
I'm absolutely sure there is. There's a freaking
I know there's
Cthulhu one.
Yeah. There's one where there's pigeons.
Yeah, that one's awesome. That's how the game was played out.
Yeah. Or it's like Slender Man is the principal of the high school.
Yeah.
God. You were gonna say something, Mikey?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say well, there will be a game now that we've mentioned it.
Yeah, now that we've tossed that into the ether. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my like third one is kind of just like a slight like semblance of what I mentioned earlier with like the bedside manner of this nurse. So like his comment back to the nurse, it's like, I mean, I don't know if she deserved to die.
You don't know?
But I'm being like facetious. I was like, I don't know if she deserved to die. Like,
did not deserve to die.
But she was a little inconsiderate there. But like even that, it's like, yeah, maybe a little harsh there. Lou, you could have just used your own strong words.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then I'll move on to the next thing I have here. This is the last one I have here. Jeffrey Woods was a murderer. Lou Woods was too. Okay, I guess that's all we're gonna get from Homicidal Lou's backstory for how he became a killer too. His brother tried to murder him, and now it seems he has a split personality or a voice in his head telling him to kill people. Cool. I just kind of
reasoning for killing is because someone said
badmouthed
his brother.
So I guess the moral is like
childish.
it's like the good, like, because he's such a good brother to his younger brother that he's not going to take shit from anybody, and he'll fucking kill you if you say anything bad about his brother.
Like, yeah, but like actually kill you.
Yeah, like actually kill you. Yeah.
Yes.
I just kind of wish there was more. Like, I wish we'd like gotten a little bit more in the story. Like, as it is, it's just kind of a very, very simple, like from another person's point of view of the original origin for creep. Or it's not even the original origin of Jeff the Killer. It's just the popular origin of Jeff the Killer.
Is it not the original?
We covered the original idea for the Jeff the Killer story origin by Cesar, like I think last year or the year before that.
Was that one of the ones I really liked?
No, this one, it was like he got like bleached and stuff like that because he slipped on some soap when like cleaning the bathroom, and that's how he got like bleached white.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was a whole like title card I did where he like him slipping. And that like, but yeah, the original, the story that's most popular is him like going to that birthday party and encountering the bullies and like fighting them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the popular one. So yeah, the story, like I said earlier, and like Gamer brought it up too, is like the story like just doesn't really stand on its own 2 feet. It gets pushed back down onto the bed by that other Jeff the Killer story. Wow, there's actually kind of a parallel here. Metaphor.
Metaphor once.
Yeah. But Ooh, nice. I just it took a second for me to realize what you said. But yeah, it's just it's not very long, and I kind of wish it had more substance. So yeah, that's the end of my actual thoughts. Mikey, D stands for evil.
Let's start off with some critically silliness. So when I read the sentence, "My organs," Lou thought in horror as the world blurred and finally went dark. When I read that, I was like, "My organs!"
Okay.
Weird, honestly. Like,
Yeah, it's
what
like
did you use for that?
yeah, it would be like any goofier. It would have been like my spleen,
Yeah.
my organs, my precious organs, or Jeff the Killer just
Too.
yeah, or Jeff the Killer just goes like full like that Doom Guy comic, where it's like you've got guts. It's like, I bet you've got crazy guts. I want to rip them out or something like that. It's like just goes full Doom Guy and rips and tears.
Don't try to make Jeff the Killer cool.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just my thought. It was sort of silly.
Yeah.
And then my next actual thought here is, well, why did they have tools, aka scissors, beside Lou's bed?
Yeah, like even like even if the scissors had not been scissors, it had been like a scalpel. It's like, why is that there? Why is any sharp implement near a patient in this hospital?
Yeah, like it would make sense if like the nurse had just gotten there and they were removing bandages or something.
Yeah,
but that's not explained, and I mean the nurse should be paying more attention to her tools.
Exactly.
This nurse is also an idiot.
Yeah, she's bad side manner and just not professional. But also, like, you're right. You're absolutely right there, Mikey. Like, if that had been explained in the story, that I could have given it a pass as she's coming in to like to reapply the bandages, and so that's why she has like a tray of bandages, like a fresh stuff, and like the scissors, and she has to like hold him down. Like she's like trying to calm him down and hold him down because like he's trying to get up and like he's coming to and such. But that's not explained at all in the story. So yeah.
Or maybe that's why you lashed out at her, because like he's coming at him with scissors, and he's like freaking out, thinking that flashback. Yeah,
PTSD flashback of like when Jeff was there. Yeah.
I would have preferred that, honestly.
I think that would have been really cool, like from a psychological, like a psychological horror angle, like him actually having like some traumatic reaction to the nurse, like thinking that like based off of like the trauma he suffered. That would have been actually interesting.
He would have remained likable.
Yeah,
if that happened.
Because especially if the kill had actually been accidental, like he just kind of like a switch was flipped for a moment, and like then he comes to and realizes, oh shit, I've killed somebody. I gotta get out of here. Like if he's an unwitting killer, it makes, and like where Sully kind of took over because of a trigger, like that is more interesting than like him just like killer. It's like, okay.
It's a better dynamic because like Jeff is the killer one.
Yeah, so he's the one with the rage built in. Yeah, he's the one with the rage monster.
But at this point, they're just the same.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. All right. And then my next actual thought here is that the hospital scene leaves so much to be desired. Like he's hooked up to a heart monitor, which likely means he's hooked up to an IV drip of some kind.
Yeah.
He has stitches, given that his organs were pulled out of him, so he should be in sort of immense pain.
When he tries to move, it hurts.
And they do mention upping his dosage, so he is on something still.
Yeah, and it says every once in a while his stomach flared in painful protest. Like, it shouldn't be every once in a while. It should be constant.
Chronic. Yeah, it's like, oh, I got a tummy ache from moving. Like, yeah, no, it should be like a blistering pain that like immobilizes him or paralyzes him for moments.
Yeah.
But he's also on medication,
Yeah.
and through doing the murder, probably hopped up on adrenaline,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which might be ignored
Yes.
temporarily.
So, yeah, I can see the adrenaline rush because he just woke up. His heart is pounding.
Yeah.
So that explains the ability to kill the nurse, theoretically. But him getting up and leaving the hospital with no one stopping him.
Yeah, these are all good points. It just needs to be added in the story. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it doesn't say he just leaves the hospital without a problem. He could kill 15 people on the way out.
Yeah, or it'd be funny if the story just ends with him actually getting detained and just like arrested.
Yeah.
He didn't actually make it out of the hospital.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and then like maybe he because he's been moving so much, maybe he broke the stitches and now his organs are falling out again.
I have an idea that just popped in my head about this. What if he hadn't woken up in a hospital bed? What if he'd woken up in the morgue? And like, because like Jeff like did like grab something purposely like into his body, like from like one of the wounds. What if he's a fucking zombie or a revenant? Now?
Sure looks like a zombie.
Yeah, like what if what if like maybe all the scars and stuff like that. What if that's just like the repairs, and then he has this massive scar on his chest where they did the autopsy and stuff, and then he wakes up in the morgue as a undead revenant of like vengeance. Like that would have been so much cooler than him just like waking up in a hospital bed and then like killing the nurse and stuff.
Yeah,
kill the
totally.
mortician. Yeah,
totally. We've given so many ideas on how to make this better.
Yeah, and like I hate to say, like a quick side to my thoughts again. I just realized it's like I think I actually prefer like I haven't read it or even listened to that episode in years, but I think from what I recall, like that one being like the original Homicidal Lou story we covered was like a vigilante sort of thing. And it was very over the top and thriller. I kind of prefer that over this.
Yeah, this is the only one where I recall disliking Lou.
Yeah, because like Lou's supposed to be like a tortured soul, like unlike his brother who is like gone full blown Joker. Like in this case, I feel like Homicide, like Lou should be more like the Two-Face, where like Two-Face is technically a sympathetic character because he's suffering from a multi-personality issue and stuff like that, and like there is a goodness in him. It's just a lot of the time the bad side overpowers the good.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Back to you, Mikey.
Well, that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Okay. Then yeah, gamer, continue on.
We'll do that. So we're at the very start.
Love it.
Lou Woods was a good boy. I wasn't aware Lou was Jeff's dog in this story.
Oh no. No, don't do this to me. Lou was Jeff's dog the whole time.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
And also the origin of Dogscape.
Hell yeah. It always comes back to Dogscape.
Yep. Oh god, and that's it's all like the Dogscape is actually Lou trying to get Jeff, who's just the kitten, in that Arctic base that the one guy was.
Oh, yeah, there's the one kitten there.
Yeah, that's why the Dogscape was like trying to get into that bunker in that one like place in the Arctic where they can't really where the biomass can't reach, is because there was a single guy and his cat there, and it was all a metaphor of a dog chasing a cat.
However, there is one fatal flaw in all of this.
Oh no!
That is connecting Jeff the Killer to Dogscape. We like Dogscape. Let's not ruin it.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll move on. So, this was a question. Well, I have a question in regards to this statement. He always did as he was told, got good grades, tried to keep his younger brother in trouble, blah, blah, blah. So, in this, Lou is the older brother. Is that the mainline Jeff the Killer canon? Because I recall Lou being the younger brother most of the time.
I think in the one that I think in the Jeff the Killer story that this one keeps relying on, I believe that Lou is the older brother. I'd have to double check.
We read so many that I can't really keep them straight, because whenever I think of Lou, I always think of him as the younger brother. I recall being surprised when he's older.
Okay, the reason why you're getting mixed up is because in Lou's original, so in some versions Lou is the older brother. In a couple of the reboots which we have done, Jeff is the older brother.
So that's probably why I'm remembering that, because I recall liking the reboots.
Yeah, because the reboots gave us the reboots even gave like Jeff like turned Jeff from like a Joker story to like a Two-Face story.
Yeah. So he's somewhat likable.
Yeah.
But that's not the story.
No.
All right. So we're just reading a little bit. Okay, so we get to the part where he's being murdered by Jeff and all that. It says the kitchen knife reflected in the dim moonlight, coming from the window as Lou thrashed, trying to scream under his hand. Shh! His younger sibling cooed softly, "Go to sleep." Finn. Well, that was a short one.
Yeah.
If it stopped that early, it'd be like, okay, cool. It's the ending of Jeff the Killer. Just you see Jeff doing it. That would have been.
Yeah, you see it from Lou's eyes.
Yeah.
You see because that's basically what the story, like half the story is really just Lou, like a summary of the previous story of the Jeff the Killer origin story, but from Lou's point of view.
I'm glad there's like a little bit of summary to it compared to just having none.
Yeah.
Because like we were criticizing how it doesn't stand on its own because like it doesn't reference enough of what happened before, but at least it does reference some.
Yeah, it just needs more though.
Yeah. Because like we don't, if you're reading this by itself, why would you? But if you are, you would have no idea why Jeff is killing him, why he cut his face and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's like you don't want to be going into this if you've never heard of Jeff the Killer. If like this is why I wouldn't recommend this, because like the only way I'd recommend this maybe, and this is a very tangential maybe, is if you had already read the previous Jeff the Killer story, then this gives you just a little bit more context, a little bit, kinda, maybe, not really.
I mean, it kind of does, but it also ruins a character.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and like, I would not recommend this if somebody had never heard of Jeff the Killer. Like, if I was, it's like, oh, like I haven't heard of ever heard of Jeff the Killer. What's that character? What any stories you could recommend for us? Like, yeah, check out Homicidal Lou first, like by Vampirenote13. Yeah, no, I would not recommend.
I would do that personally because that would be sabotaging anyone for liking Jeff the Killer story.
Oh yeah, you would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd immediately turn them off from Jeff the Killer stories and maybe even creepypastas in general. It's like, this is garbage.
Good. Poisoning the well.
Oh.
This is the start of my supervillain arc.
Yeah. Gamer the Killer.
Yeah.
Gamer the fun killer.
I am the Grinch in yellow.
Last week. You were last week. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new year.
I still have a little bit of that rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
So we get to this part where there's a voice that's like, killer. A voice insisted. Who said that? Thought Lou. My name is Sully, replied the voice. So, voice in your head due to trauma, like, okay. But why is it named like that? It's such a normal sounding name. Like, why not Ted or Steve?
I mean, sometimes those personalities do just have like a regular name. Like, they're not like, I am Modifius.
It's weird that it has a name and it's just talking to him normally, you know?
Yeah, it's just like yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I was just like, I mean, sometimes like also like the voices are just like, oh, what's your name? Who are you? It's like, I'm you. Like they're just like it's very like enigmatic, or like it's just like it's a reflection of yourself, like your dark reflection kind of thing.
I prefer that though.
Yeah, no,
Because
I
at this
agree
point,
with you.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Or like, Sully doesn't need to exist. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like
You're
he
right.
tells him to kill him, but from the way that he was acting, he
Oh,
probably would have done it anyways.
I have a really dumb idea.
Sure, I love it.
His name is Homicidal.
Yup, that is a really dumb idea. You're right.
Yeah, I feel bad for saying for bringing that up. I'm just like yeah, like you're always saying like, oh, like why Sully? Like what it makes no, it's like what if his alter ego, or his alternate like the intrusive voice in his head is named Homer, and hence why we get the homicidal. It's Homicidal Lou.
Yup.
Homer inside of Lou.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You were learning well, my Padawan. But yeah. Also, like, this whole scene with this voice in his head telling him to do things, and like, especially because it tells him like you got to get out of there and all that. Like, I was having flashbacks to freaking Matrix with Neo and Morpheus.
Yeah, he's like, what do I do? It's like, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's like
Nice reference. It's like I was there in the movie.
I was trying to reference it, and just like my brain just like completely flatlined on
Yeah.
like a scene.
Yeah, it's fine. That's why I didn't attempt to, because I did not remember anything. It's fine. You okay over there?
Oh, sorry, I'm really having giggles today.
You really do.
Oh.
But it's fine. Those are contagious. Those are the best contagious things.
All right, I think I'm done laughing and giggling. So you can continue.
Okay, I only got a couple more. This is basically just in regards to his quick turn to murder, where she's like, "Wow, you're really right." Was it she? You just said nurse. Was it she?
Yeah, I think it's a she. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you're really rowdy. Please try to calm down before I have to get the. She didn't get to finish as Lou grabbed the scissors from her tray and jabbed them into her eyes. So she did have a tray that she was going to do something.
Yeah.
First off, but also, yeah, wow. Lou had more of a sudden change to a killer than Jeff did, for no quote unquote good reason either. I say quote unquote because there's no good reason to kill someone, obviously.
But like with but with Jeff, it like at least there was a buildup of rage inside of him over weeks, and like from external stimuli, like this one, and it can happen suddenly. Like I think in real life, like there are cases where like somebody just like it doesn't take a lot for somebody to just snap.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But like, yeah, from a narrative point of view, it just kind of his psychotic like killerism does just kind of kick in rather swiftly.
Because yeah, like in the realistic view of things, you're right. This sort of thing could happen. Someone could just snap and do that. But this is a story that's meant to entertain.
Yeah. Also,
generally, it's better to show development of a character if you want the reader to enjoy the character.
Yeah, that's true. Also, it could be said that like his swift trigger or switch around is also the result of his of the traumatic experience he just envisioned, like, or not envisioned, that he just experienced with like Jeff killing him and like probably killing his family and stuff like that too. So it's like, I think honestly, like if the nurse had brought up, he's like, yeah, killed like a whole family, like the mom, the dad. I think the son is here. Wait, are you the son? Oh, I'm so sorry. Like,
yeah,
like there'd been something like a little bit more like to like further like or just like basically adding more weight to his mind before it snaps and goes this way. I think what you. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, I think you're right. Like, otherwise, like, like for the narrative, for like the story, for the for character growth, or at least for like a character moment where like he has to make a choice in down like the path, right? Like there's like a fork in the road kind of thing in the story. So.
Another way that the nurse could be treated better is instead of her just coming in and just blatantly saying shit she shouldn't be saying to the patient,
Yeah,
she could be gossiping outside the door,
that would have been good. That would have been
saying the
nuanced.
same sort of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, he's his brother tried to kill him and kill his whole fucking family. He looks like a
Yeah.
demon. Anyways, I gotta go treat him.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Now-
that's not it's still not good, but it's a little bit more realistic that could theoretically happen.
I do want to just bring something up because like I just said like, oh yeah, that would be nuanced and stuff like this. Like, so first off, I just want to address like, yes, the story's written by somebody who their username is Vampirenote13. I'm going to assume that they are probably a young writer or like a teen or tween when they wrote this. So like that kind like this is like this kind of writing, like it's probably like a first draft kind of level thing. Or it's not like intentionally like I'm not like attacking the author. It's like, oh yeah, like that would be nuanced. It's like, why didn't they do this? Like these are just suggestions, is what I want to just kind of clarify before we continue on.
That's our show in a nutshell. We are.
I know. I just like I just sometimes I want us to.
It is good to clarify for sure because like
sometimes I feel like we do got to go off the rails sometimes when it comes to like our criticism, like to our critique and stuff. And I fear like sometimes it might come across that we are like attacking the author for like, or we because we don't know what the situation is with the author. Like they might be like a pretty young writer and like posting this online. So like I just, for clarity, like we're not attacking the author for these stories. We're just kind of going on off of like suggestions for how to make the story better than it is. Or better, what it could be, kind of thing. Yeah,
because if you're a young writer or an inexperienced writer, like that's fine. You have to start somewhere, you know. Yeah. And even if you have written a lot and you come across one of our episodes where we are critiquing it and liking or hating it one way or another, it's just all personal opinion and how we view it and how we personally think it could be better or change for our own personal tastes. Our tastes won't necessarily line up with other people's tastes, but that's just our view.
Yeah,
our amateurish view, as far as I guess, depending on how
we're professional in that we've been doing this like yeah, like we're professional in the way that we have been doing this like we've been doing this podcast for nigh on 10 years now almost.
Yeah.
And like we've read our fair share of creepypastas and like internet fiction and writing and stuff. So it's really just like we're not professional like editors or anything like that. We're just like we're people that enjoy this kind of this kind of work and want to try and elevate it.
We are professional amateurs.
Yeah,
is what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Just through the endurance of running the gauntlet of reading all these.
Yeah,
but
yeah. The only true professional on our show is probably when we have a guest. When we have guest star Adam,
yes.
who is yeah.
Indeed.
But I digress.
You do. Where was I now? So like, yeah, we've kind of brushed on this, but say what you will about Jeff, but at least he has a reason why he did his first killings. He was bullied to the point of snapping. Yeah. And that's a more relatable thing. And I get that's why people connect to Jeff, because if they're in high school and they're getting bullied, like they relate to it.
It's the power fantasy of high schoolers, of like edgy high schools. Yeah.
Because right here, the most we have is Lou's triggered by someone calling Jeff a monster. But like Lou saw what Jeff did. His brother is like a damn monster. He damn near killed him.
Well, I mean, it could be like this side of him is like kind of in denial versus like the maybe Sully is has embraced what Jeff has become and is more of the truth than the identity that is being projected into Lou. But.
Yeah. I wish the whole Two-Face thing like continued more, because it's so brushed upon on the end that it doesn't give it any character. It just feels like it doesn't need to be there.
And that's my big problem with the story, is that it just doesn't have enough time to like kind of develop that idea. Like it, he's like, and he's going to leave. He flees the hospital. Now a killer like his brother. It's like, that's it. Okay, like could get a little bit more maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. And like even the voice in his head calls Jeff a monster. So like
Yeah.
he's aware that he's a monster.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he's like Lou, surface Lou is calling out the nurse for like calling his brother a monster and stuff like that. But then the voice in his head, who's actually like truthful or like sees things as the truth, he's like, well, not really, but sure, like, but whatever.
Yeah, I almost wish the voice in his head was Lou, and the outer active one isn't Lou anymore.
Yeah, maybe that's now like Sully.
Yeah, like when the nurse tries to call him, he's like, "My name is Silly," or sorry, Sully. I'm silly. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. In regards to Lou as a character in this story, I don't think I've ever gone from sympathizing with a character to hating a character so quickly. Just with the reasoning between, like, for his snapping.
Yeah, it's like, not. It doesn't paint him in a good light at all.
No, and if this is meant to be like Jeff the Killer, where it's a creepypasta for people to make Lou into a creepypasta heartthrob, I don't see how this could do it.
Yeah,
there's no, you can't really relate to him. He's just sort of overprotective to the point of murder.
Yeah,
I guess is his appeal in this one, quote unquote.
Yeah. Like for me, there's not enough. Again, like my recurring theme here is like there's not enough here to make us like to give that tortured soul sort of angle for Lou. Like Lou has kind of been like pushed into.
Yeah.
Or even to make him likable to like I can't really see like why somebody like why like somebody would like find this like character like appealing. I mean, again, I'm also not a teenage girl on Tumblr, but so like who knows those minds except for those people. But like I just it's very at least in some of the other stories with Lou, like he is, even when he's like a killer, he is a vigilante, like a tortured vigilante kind of type.
He's vastly different. This one, it's like, hey, that's cool what Jeff did, I'm gonna do that.
Or it's just like
that's
it's like hi, I'm Sully, I'm in your head now, go kill that person. Okay. Like that's to me that's the rundown in a nutshell. Yeah, that's the run. That's in a nutshell what Homicidal Lou is in the story. This is like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll move on to my last note here. His voice picked up as he pulled back, stabbing her again to the lullaby of her scream, and again a fourth time. He lost track after she had already fallen to the floor. He can only count to 4.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
For those unaware, there's a song by Psycho Stick called "I Can Only Count to 4," which is a reference to the Bodies song by Drowning Pool, right?
Yes,
that one, right? Yeah, because it's "Let the Bodies on the Floor." I can only count to 4.
Yeah, and stabbing in time with the lullaby of the screams. It's like stab, stab. Like,
yeah, it's basically saying if she's still making noise, I'm still stabbing.
Yeah.
But he can only count to 4, so it's more than 4.
Yeah,
that's the end of my notes.
Okay. So we'll move on to final thoughts then. So I do commend this story for trying to give Lou a backstory, or at least give us the point of view of Lou, as he becomes as he reaches killer status.
Point of view, perhaps.
Yeah, but that's about it. Like the story just ends as things were getting kind of interesting for Lou, to develop and like to give us development of him. Like it's sort of like
it stops before it starts.
Exactly, yeah. Like this isn't even like the opening kill. This could almost just be like an opening kill for the movie that is Homicidal Lou.
Yeah.
And then we like, and then the rest of the movie is like watching his descent into his torturedness, but we don't get that now. So like, it's just like we're just like, okay, so he's just a killer now, and like that's it.
It's a teaser trailer at best.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I still wouldn't recommend this because like you either need to know about Jeff the Killer, like the popular creepypasta of Jeff the Killer that gives you the origin, because this is kind of like a complementary story for it. But it also ruins Lou a little bit with how little is written here. And like as a standalone story, it cannot sit on it cannot stand on its own 2 feet for me. Like if I didn't know anything about Jeff the Killer and this was my first foray into the Jeff the Killer like mythos or like chronicles, like I would be very confused. So yeah, I'm not going to recommend this story still. So Mikey, these stands for evil.
Well, it's bad.
I was really waiting for you to like
short.
I'm not gonna lie, I was waiting for you to just like I've actually had a change of heart.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like you were there.
Yeah, you were like taking your time there.
Yeah, it's interesting that like we see Lou get his gut opened up and his organs taken out, but then he has stitches, and then he suddenly walking around like, oh, these stitches don't hurt at all, even though they should really hurt.
But he's a killer. He doesn't have feelings.
Yeah, don't you know? When a team becomes a killer, they get a natural painkiller. The only way they no, that's how they don't feel pain when they kill. Hence why they're painkillers. They're personal painkillers. That's why they have to keep killing so they don't feel. It's all an analog for like for disassociation and like numbing the pain with existential anger and anguish. So metal. So emo. Sorry.
I feel if this were actually to happen, like he would probably get to the front door of the hospital and just collapse.
Yeah,
because the adrenaline would wear off, and he'd be like, "Ooh, I'm actually really hurting."
So, yeah, he'd get. He would be like looks, and then eventually, like he'd just get to the door. It would open up, and then he'd just like fall over.
Yep. So.
Also, as I've kind of said before, it doesn't say he got out of there.
No, it just ends.
He could walk out there and immediately get shot by a security guard.
Yeah, exactly. Because I assume this is in America.
Yeah.
So, down on the ground.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and the whole issue with the nurse having the stuff, well, a tray of tools and scissors being one of them, and it not explain that it's a tray of bandages type thing or anything like that.
Yeah, it should have been clear. Yeah, like the tray is there in the story, but it should have been mentioned why it was there, kind of thing.
It's so clearly mentioned that you almost forget it was there in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as it stands, I still do not recommend this.
Fair. All right, Gamer.
I, however, have had a change of heart. Only partially though, because like the concept of this is good, and we've read Homicidal Lou's like at least one other one. And
I think actually you guys did. Yeah, you guys from the Patreon Reloaded. I think you guys also did. You guys get that far to the Homicidal? We've only I don't think we've ever actually. This is the first time in our Jeffuary stories that we've actually covered a strictly Homicidal Lou story, not where Lou is in a Jeff the Killer story.
Oh, interesting. Either way, it has been done since, because this is the first one, right? Where Lou became a character.
Supposedly this is the first. Yeah, supposedly this is the one that like a lot of people like attribute to being like one of the first Homicidal Lou stories. Yeah.
Yes, it's where the name got coined and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in respect to that, I'm glad that this exists, and glad that this inspired people to take that viewpoint of like what would happen to Lou. What if he snapped in a different way and became a killer as well?
Like, what if Lou hadn't just died with his parents?
Yeah.
Like
Or as you said,
when
woke up in the morgue, or if like he actually survived it naturally,
yeah,
but he still kind of snapped. Yeah.
yeah. That's the good thing is the core concept, but
Yeah, and like the art of him is cool. I like that he's a different look to him. Although that the damage to his face was not in the story, and considering it's a defining character feature, it should be.
and especially like looking at it, like looking at we didn't actually really cover the art, like except for like the one thing I mentioned where I just like commented like I guess Jeff was just like slashing at him a lot more thoroughly because
Yeah,
like this picture has him like just like cut like down the through the eye and like but not actually going through the eye but and then like across his nose and then like giving him the Glasgow smile or like that wide smile but like that's all been stitched up as well.
Mhm.
And then like maybe there's some like scarring on his neck kind of, but like we're in the actual story we just he looks at his body and his body's all like stitched like it been stitched up so like it's and it references that he was slashed in his abdomen like that's not nowhere near his face and
yeah,
yet
for sure. I
and yet
expected the art to be a shirtless Lou.
and you know what I'm gonna hate doing this. I'm gonna Google Homicidal Lou and look at the images and I'm
Mhm.
sure there will be more than enough of them that are just like him either shirtless or like his shirt is open
Yeah,
to reveal his chest and such.
and like
Wow.
with
Actually, no, but he's actually pretty well clothed in like a nice jacket and a striped scarf.
not
And
gonna lie, when you said "wow" like that, I thought you were gonna be like, "Wow, actually a little turned on now."
whoa, whoa.
Like you're having an awakening over there.
No, no, I'm just it was surprised from like how
Clothed
clothed he is and how fashionable he is. Damn. But yeah.
hmm Either way, do all of them have the same sort of scarring?
For the most
Face.
part, yeah. Like they're almost all of them are like one across the nose and like the mouth, and
Mhm.
at least yeah, mostly it's around across the nose and the mouth, and then around the neck is what you can see visibly. And
He's
then
an
like
attractive Frankenstein look is
yeah,
basically what he is.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm. So like, and also like in regards to like his face and stuff, like when the attack happened, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff gave him the smile, like
Yeah.
while he was still awake. Around his eyes and stuff, sure, maybe he passed out since then. That's fine, but have the nurse mention like, I have to take off I have to change the bandages over your face to check the stitches around your eyes. Like reference it. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
it's what he is. Unless this story came out and then subsequent stories came out which actually designed his face up, and that's where this art is from, and it's just it's
It's
like
possible.
back put onto this.
I'm just taking a look at the image that we had, like the imagery we got from again that Homicidal Lou story from like way back when.
Yeah.
Based on my title card, he was cut a little bit, like he was cut at the mouth area, like the smile, and he also had like a heart shaped carving on his chest, like where his heart should be. But that's from what, at least that's like how I like depicted it when I read that story. So yeah, I don't, and maybe like you're right. Maybe there are some other stories that like came after this one that gave him more of the pretty boy scars.
Perhaps. But
Yeah.
either way, long story short, I'm glad that this exists and that this inspired more expansion in the Jeff the Killer universe, because the universe itself isn't horrible. Like I get it. It's just a lot of the stories in there aren't written super well.
Yeah.
And they sometimes like don't make characters likable. And at the end of the day, I want to, like, even though I'm reading about a killer, there has to be a reason that I want to read, you know?
Like, and I'm gonna have a faux pas that I'm sure like a past Leviathan is gonna hate me for. At the end of the day, Jeff the Killer, like these kind of like slasher killer things, it's kind of the same as like Friday the 13th, like and Jason Voorhees.
Sure.
Like Jason Voorhees, yes, he's a big, at least in the second one and moving and forward. Even in the first one, like the killer is is tragic because like Jason drowned on the watch of a bunch of camp counselors who were just too preoccupied with themselves, and like I think some of the other the campers and stuff like that were bullying Jason, and that's what caused him to drown because he was stunted like mentally and stuff like that. And he was, I think, partially deformed or something. But like, yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, so, and then he turned into like the Revenant monster that we know in all the Jason movies, and so, and with the hockey mask and such. But like, yes, he's killing all these people, but it's more of a revenge thing, and he's a spirit of vengeance, or a revenant, which is usually a creature, an undead creature that comes back to seek revenge on anybody that is filling a certain like quota or circumstance that is, or revolves around how that killer died originally.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. Like it's like much like Jason Voorhees, like the tragedy in Jeff the Killer stories and like the other teen killer stories is that they are going after, they have either snapped or they're going after people who caused them to be like this. Hence why there is such a
didn't do this to him.
The nurse in this was just like she said some things that she probably shouldn't have said in front of a patient. And I mean, like that is also something that would happen probably actually, I know that's something that happened in a Jason story, because there were some security guards that like said something like said hi to Jason, and like not aware that he was who he was. And as he's walking away, he hears something. They say something under their breath that he overhears about him, and he turns around and kills them.
Yeah.
So it's like karma. Like it's supposed to be like either karmic or like karmic deaths and such, or like sort of like a very like open-ended like revenge or vengeance sort of situation. But
yep. But back to my final thoughts.
Yes, sorry.
Because that was all just in regards to me liking the concept of this. What's actually here, though, unfortunately, I really did not like reading. I recall in one of the previous years, I found a lot of good points to bring up in previous Jeffuary stories, but they're really in what we have here, there isn't much good points to bring up, unfortunately. It's been quite a while since I've read the other Homicidal Lou story, but I don't recall having such a visceral disgust for the character doing a heel turn for no damn reason like was in this.
Yeah.
And that's what really killed this. If it was more explainable through him viewing her as if he's Jeff coming to stab him again, like that's more believable. Yeah. But I just didn't like that turn.
Yeah, I feel like you need to establish why somebody's a killer, or why there's a monster, or explain why there's no explanation, or like give more depth to the character than just like, haha, I stab you.
Yes,
I'm evil now.
Okay,
yeah. Like, I mean, because like you can also have it like where they're like you don't get like how like the tragicness of why they turned. You could also just have them be a killer, but give them more depth as a result, or like have them like give them something else to make them like semi-amicable, unless you're just trying to go for that like, no, I want to make a most despicable character ever. But like we've already seen that instances of Homicidal Lou that aren't supposed to be like that, where he is supposed to be this tortured soul. But
either way, the story as it is, it doesn't stand on its own because of how much you need to have read the original Jeff story. There's not much catch up here or mustard, but it also doesn't stand together with the original Jeff story very well because of how weak the reasoning is for the change in Lou. Lou is the older, more mature brother, yet his turn is very childish. It's literally you called my brother a name, now I'm stabbing you.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And that part I dislike. So the words that we have here, they need a lot of work, but the concept I really like. But as a suggestion for a story to read, I can't recommend this one way or another, even if you read the other story, because I personally think this butchers Lou, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess that'll do it for this week's episode. So yeah, basically round the table non-recommendation. The concept is admirable.
Yes, I do love the concept of taking a character from a story that kind of has a bit part, or even just not the main character, and fleshing them out more.
Yeah, fleshing out the supporting character. Yeah, because Lou, at the end of the day, Lou has been basically like the secondary, like supporting, like the main supporting character for Jeff. And it's not until you take Lou away that Jeff has a fall from grace.
Yep.
Like that's the tipping point in most Jeff the Killer stories, is when Lou is removed from the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good concept for like giving this character like their spotlight, just bad execution, or like not very great execution.
Mm-hmm.
But it inspired many others to
Yes it did.
expand upon this and just do a Google search for Homicidal Lou, and oh boy, there's lots of it.
You will find lots of art and even a bunch of stories.
So even though we don't necessarily recommend the original story, good on you for creating so
helping
much.
Helping inspire an entire mythos.
Yeah, like legit.
But that'll be this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. We're all on Twitter, kind of. Mikey is at yeah. Well, I mean that platform's kind of dying, or
is it
just
actually?
Kind of, it's falling. It's definitely starting to like fall apart at the seams in certain spots. Yeah. So, you can send us things there. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow without that W at the end because his name is very long.
Yeah, it's a bit at this point.
Yeah, and I'm at Review Cultist. I'm also on Blue Sky, another social media platform, under Review Cultist, so you can check me out there. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah! And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have backer tiers. We have various backer tiers with special episodes, early access, and extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, without your stories that you write and post online and share and inspire an entire mythos, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Brigamortis.
Go to sleep.